Okay.
This is like a new feature
It's nice.
where she talks to you. So basically we're just going to start with like your backstory.
Okay.
And then it will naturally just lead into how you, do I sound like I'm screaming at you?
No. You're
Okay.
not at all.
Okay, good. Because I feel like I'm very loud.
No.
And then it will go into how you decided to, start your own company. And
Okay.
then I'll just ask you like some business questions.
Okay,
So
cool.
I want to know things like how you started, right? Like
Mm,
what are your goals for your company? Do you have employees?
okay.
If they're not employees, are they independent contractors? Like how do you find them? The goal is to like help anyone who might be listening, just kind of point them in the right direction, and then also share who you are as a person, because I don't feel like we do that enough in business, especially like with women. We just, it's like everyone wants to hear about like the glory.
Right.
And so that's not real.
Yep,
That's not
exactly.
life.
Right. And that didn't
So
happen yesterday. Like yeah, the glory takes time.
exactly. Or there, I saw a thing that said like no overnight success is like truly overnight. It's like,
Right.
years and years and years of no's and fails and learning and all that stuff. So I did I did get your background. So
Okay.
I'll introduce you, and then
Okay.
we'll kind of go into who you are anyway. So just let me
Okay.
make sure this is right. So you're self-taught. I just want to make sure I have this so I don't say it wrong. I have to redo it.
Okay.
You're self-taught, right? You are a meal prep chef and private chef. You found an interest in cooking when you were 7 from your grandmother when she taught you how to make scrambled eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you officially started Splendidly Flavored in 2019.
Yes.
That's all accurate?
Yes. And I'm a caterer too, in case I didn't add that in there.
Okay. Caterer.
So I do like, all the above as far as cooking for events.
Okay. So I'll introduce you, and then we're really just going to have a conversation.
Okay,
So I
cool.
like to tell
I
people,
like
because
that.
like some
Yeah.
people get really freaked out. And I'm like, we're not live,
Right.
everything can be edited.
Uh,
If at any point you're like, I don't really like that, or I didn't really want that included, or whatever, just say that, and
okay.
I'll note the time, and I can just edit it out. So
Okay.
it's not a big deal. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So welcome to the Warrior Her podcast. Today we are featuring, see, even I mess up. Okay. Welcome to the Warrior Her podcast. Today I'm featuring Chef Dawn Tanner, and she's based out of Los Angeles. She is a caterer, private chef, and meal prep chef. And she's here today to just share her story of how she opened her company, Splendidly Flavored. So we'll kind of jump right into your backstory. So anyone who listens to my podcast knows I always start with the backstory. It's super important, your origin story. Um, so can we just kind of start there, like where you're from?
Sure, absolutely. Well, first, let me just take the time. Thank you so much for having me. This is my first podcast, so I'm really
Yeah.
excited. Yeah, I'm hopefully first of many. I can't even try to explain how excited I am and how happy I am to be able to have a voice and actually speak to the people. So I'm really looking forward to this. So thank you so much for having me, first and foremost.
No, thank you.
Second, you're welcome. You're welcome. Secondly, as far as where I'm from, I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California. I never moved anywhere except for, I moved inland in high school. So I moved to Corona and have been out there ever since. And just being from LA and just coming from two parents, my mom was in the corporate industry and my dad was just a hustler. So it's just been something that's just kind of literally just been in me, that I just knew that, I grew up on a really nice side of town in LA. I grew up in Ladera Heights. So it definitely set the standard of what I knew I wanted for myself and for my now son. I was going to say children, but I only ended up having one, a son. But, it just set the bar high, so it just set the bar. I knew, I watched my parents work hard for what they wanted, and they worked tirelessly and overtime and working to the middle of the night, all of that just to make ends meet and to provide a better life for us. So that's what I'm doing now, to make sure that I can provide the same for my son.
And how old is your son?
He's 13. He's not a baby. He's 13. He'll be 14 in October. But, when you're a mom, he's my baby forever. And girl, he's 6'3". So he's definitely not a baby, but that's my baby.
Wow. At 13. Oh,
at
man.
13,
Are you tall?
I'm tall. Yes, I'm 5'10". So
and,
yeah. So
and dad's tall, I'm assuming too.
And his dad is 6'9". So
yeah. All right.
So, no, we never knew like, okay, is he gonna like just kind of be average? But he's taller than what his dad was at his height. So he might end up being, I might have me a 7-footer on my hands, girl.
Do people try to push him to be an athlete?
Yes, they do.
Because he's tall.
Because he's tall. So it's so funny. That's something that his dad and I were literally dealing with now. We aren't together, but we're great co-parents, literally like great friends. So we had to have that conversation because he's going into 8th grade this year. So it's like, okay, people are wanting to have you come to their high school so that they can get you into these good colleges. So what is basketball to you? Is it something you just kind of like it because it's fun, something to do on weekends, or do you really want to do this? So he's like, I want to do this. So literally overnight, our lives changed. Like he's like working out like 2-a-days and, just practicing with people, trying to develop even more than what he is to. It's already time to get him prepared to go to like a great 4-year college. You know what I mean? So that's where we are now. So he literally just let us know that this is what I really want to do. And so we're going to, at least do our part to give him a fair chance to get into, if nothing else, just take advantage and get a free education. That's all we want.
Yeah, that's, I asked that because I think a lot of times, especially boys are pressured to go into sports, and it's like, maybe he's not athletic, maybe he actually like loves art or, wants to be a chef, like don't just, we're more than capable of, as Black people, we're more than capable of being athletes. So Absolutely. there's that part too.
Absolutely. And I fully agree. I think in our, in our culture, we can be kind of closed-minded, if that's the right word to use, just because someone is African-American with a big house, it doesn't mean that they're just an athlete or they're just a rapper or something like that. You know what I mean? Like we can be artists too. We can be creative on a whole other level too. We can be art dealers and, all of these types of things. So, we have to get ourselves out of this box that the only way that we're going to be successful is by being an athlete or an entertainer. There's so many other avenues, and I made sure that my son is aware of that, but he just happens to like basketball. So I'm like, I'm one of those parents. If he tells me tomorrow he wants to be a photographer, okay, let's do it. Yeah. We're gonna give you the chance. Let's go do what you want to do. But he likes basketball, so I'm gonna support him as long as that's what he wants to do. Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm sure, as someone who is an athlete, and I love it. I want my kids to do it, but so far they both like sports. My son is definitely not 6'3" and he's 14. Okay. So I'm like, I sent him this article, and it was like the one really good point guard in college, and it was like, it's a new kid, and I was like, well, okay, we got inspiration.
Right.
I said, you just got to be so good that they can't turn you away. Absolutely. So it's not impossible, but Absolutely. But you do gotta, you have to work for it, and it's not just like sometimes when you feel like it,
Sure. And it's the same for my son too. Just because he's 6'3", that doesn't mean he's a shoo-in. There's one thing I learned from his dad, because obviously his dad was an athlete too. There's a lot of great people, a lot of great athletes who aren't in the league, whether it's NFL or basketball, so he knows too, there's going to be a lot of people who's going to be, I don't know, let's just stick to 6'6". There's going to be a lot of people that's 6'6". There's going to be a lot of people that can dunk. There's going to be a lot of people that can do that. But you have to make sure you do the work to where you stand and you're above and beyond them, because if you're just like them, then that's where it kind of you can get lost in the sauce. So it can go either way, honestly.
So I was reading the article that you did in Voyage LA. And it seems like your son is an integral part of your life.
Yes.
Now, were you young when you had him?
I was, and I guess that's relative. I was 23 when I gave birth to my son.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was definitely young. But it's something that I can't imagine what my life would be like if I did not have my son. When I did, I'm telling you, it's just ever since then, like my life has just been into overdrive. Like, okay, I have somebody depending on me now. I've always worked. I've been in sales. I've worked all different types of jobs because the money was there. Like, okay, so this is going to help me pay rent. This is what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? So he is the one who consistently drives me. That's why I say I can't imagine what my life would be like without, because if I didn't have him, I don't know if I would have the drive and the hunger that I do now to be great. You know what I mean?
Yes. So he was born in what, 2008?
2007.
2007.
Uh-huh.
Oh, he's going to be 14 this year then.
He'll be 14 in October. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. You said that. My son just turned 14 January. So I was trying to do the math in my head. Like, wait a minute. He's got to be the same age. Okay. When October when?
October 3rd, Libra.
October 23rd. I'm a Scorpio, but
okay.
it's October babies. We stick together.
Yeah,
we are the best. We are the best.
And I'm telling you, great people, man. Great people.
So you have your son, and then at what point? So in this Voyage article, Dawn is talking about going to a vision board party. So can we talk about that and give people a time understanding of, like, you had your son, and was this like a few years after he was still very little? What point was that? Sure.
So believe it or not, girl, this vision board party was 2019. Because they're 2021 now, right? So yeah,
okay.
2019.
Which is also when the business was officially started.
When the business was officially started. So this is a legit true story. Like, anybody that knows me, anybody that's listening that knows me, like I said, I've done everything. Like I have a degree in journalism, like I've just been trying whatever. I was one of those people that as I got older, I started to get really frustrated because I would see people just naturally making money off of things they were good at. Like, I have a friend who can make the cute little Starbucks cups, or one girl was making earrings, and I could never find what my gift was. No matter what I tried, I could never find it, right? So I went to this vision board party. One of my very good friends, Tasia, she's like a sister to my husband. So, we became really close friends, great girl. And she started this thing where she just has so many friends. I want to bring all my girlfriends together. Let's just have a vision board party. And I mean, you would think it's maybe like 6 of it. Girl, it was like 75, maybe to 100 people at this vision board party. And no lie, she made everybody like everybody go around the room, like one by one. We're going to stand up, tell the room what your dreams and aspirations are. So here I am, like literally, like, I don't know what I'm going to say, because I tried blogging years ago. I wasn't successful in that. I don't think writing's my thing. I tried this. So I'm like, okay. And everybody's going around the room. I can make candles. I could do hair. And I'm like, I can't do none of that. I can't do none of that. So I just said, okay, Dawn, you can either say nothing or just say, what is it that you can do? Everybody can do something. So I said, I like to cook. I can cook really well. Even though, today's Father's Day, so I'm cooking, I've cooked for my family forever. I've never had any complaints. So I just said, I'm going to say I can cook. And that's literally how it started, because she reached out to me for her next event and said, hey, I remember you said you like to cook and your favorite meal to cook is brunch, because I just happen to like breakfast. So I'm always like experimenting with like breakfast and brunch. So I said, I like to cook brunch. And she said, I'm going to be having a brunch event, a retreat type event for my next women's event. And I would love for you to get your feet wet and cook brunch. So my first job was to cook brunch for literally like 65 people. And I look back at those pictures and I'm like, oh my God, like, girl, we were serving it on like little cookie sheets and all that. I had no idea about platters and presentation, but I just appreciate her so much, because that is what literally was the springboard to where I am now. Because from then, those women at those events wanted to give me opportunities like, hey, I'm having a little girls' night, if you can make some hors d'oeuvres. And it literally just catapulted. It's one of those things, like, when you're living in your dream and when you're literally living out your purpose, everything just comes naturally. And that's really, ever since I spoke those words at that vision board party, people have just been calling me to come cook for them. And I just can't believe the success that I've had off of me just taking a chance and saying I can cook.
I mean, I don't know if you believe in any type of anything, and if you don't and you're listening, that's fine too. You might want to, just check out at this moment in time. But from your lips to God's ears, right? Like,
absolutely.
And the other thing is, you said, if you're living in your purpose, like it kind of comes easy.
Yes.
And I think that's important for my listeners to hear, because they're either at the place where they're starting a business, or they're trying to scale a business, or maybe they're even in the ideation phase. So they're afraid to, they're thinking of ideas, but maybe they're like you. So what could you tell somebody who might feel like you felt, like, I just don't know what I want to do? What would you say?
So here's where it gets tricky. And I'm only saying it like that because you don't know how many times I've been to vision board parties, or how many times I've just been in a space with people who like just naturally do their thing, right? So I can say all day long, just find what you're good at, find what you're good at. But that is the truth. Because I guess what my problem was, I didn't really feel like cooking was a gift, because I'm like, well, everybody can follow recipes, right? I mean, like everybody can just put waffle mix inside a waffle iron, but so that's me diminishing what my true gift is from God, because now I'm starting to see, well, either one, yes, people can do it, but do they want to do it for 50 people that they're having at their house? No. Or some people really just can't do it or don't have it. You know what I mean? Some people hate to cook. So what I would share with those people is, just literally don't lose sight of your dream, whatever that dream may be. If it's something that you truly believe is your gift, or even if it's something that you think might not be a gift. If you think maybe painting pictures, like everybody can paint. No, everybody can't paint a picture. I never even considered myself to be a creative, because I didn't think I was creating anything. But now, as this gift has come to me, I can see that this is really a part of being creative. So just literally take some time to do some soul searching. Don't just jump out there at anything that you might think, oh, this might make me some money. Because I'm a firm believer in cliches and like all the like cute Instagram posts. So it's true what they say. If it's something that you do for free, then it might be something that is a gift for you that you could monetize off of and really be successful at one day. So that's what I would tell people.
Yeah. And, I think people forget too that your gift still needs to be developed.
Absolutely. Yes.
You don't just wake up with a gift and then you're like, oh, got this gift, it's gonna kill it.
Right.
You still got to work at the gift.
That's a fact.
And you're also gonna probably suck at that gift initially.
Exactly.
The growth and the getting to the glory of it all takes time.
It takes time. It does. And let me just say, that's something that I'm so thankful for. Like I've always been really humble and really modest, but I really want to take this, use this platform to just let people know. I say it all the time on my Instagram page, but I'm thankful for the people that gave me the chance to get to where I am now, because like you said, this is something that you have to work at. Okay, yes, I know how to cook, but I know how to cook for my brothers and my dad. And I don't got to make it look all pretty. They just know the food tastes good. You know what I mean? So it's something that, I've considered going to school for it now, even though, of course, like people are like, well, wow, you know how to cook. And that's something that a lot of my chef friends tell me, like, Dawn, you have the skill to save your money on, why get another, go in debt even more with another school loan? Like, why, when you already have the gift? But I'm a tough critic of myself. And like you said, I know where I want to be as far as the chef goes. And I'm like, I want to get to the presentations where I'm using tweezers and different things. And like everything is perfectly placed and symmetrical. And that's really where I would like for Splendidly Flavored to grow into. So just because I know how to cook doesn't mean like, all right, I'm about to just be doing. Nah, it's something that you got to constantly work at. And it's a tough market, especially in the LA area. There's a lot of great, talented chefs out there. So it's like, I can't just be doing everything else I got to elevate. You know what I mean? So it's definitely something that you have to know. If you want to be successful and just not be stagnant, then I think it's important to know that you're going to have to like put in the work to and allow yourself to be able to grow and learn so that you can elevate to new levels.
And that means being uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
You know, like
Mhm.
if you only, I think, I mean, I think it's important to stay in an avenue,
Mhm.
but at the same time, your uncomfortable might be that you go pursue more education
Mhm.
for cooking, right? And maybe that means, maybe that doesn't mean going to school, but
Right.
it might mean working with another chef who is different than you or
Right.
cooks a different type of cuisine than you,
Mhm.
is going to give you different business feedback or cooking feedback, you know? And I think that's also something important that for the listeners to hear when she's saying about this is if you don't want to be stagnant, you got to make sure you're exhausting your resources,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. I agree. 100%.
And so, okay, so you go to this vision board party and you're like, I like to cook. So when does it go from I like to cook to I'm going to really do this?
Literally, I didn't even have the chance to even like try to think, was this something that, and okay, so I'm going to tell you how powerful the mind is. I remember leaving that vision board party, and maybe a couple days after, I was like, because I knew my friend Tasia was looking to, expand with her events for women and women supporting women type thing. So I was like, wouldn't that be something if she really, because she said that she was going to be holding people forward up to their word, and so she said at the next event that she does, it's going to be okay. Now it's the what's next conversation, like one of our other friends was a travel agent. So she's like, okay, so you said you wanted to start your travel agent company. So now is a what's next part of the conversation. So what have you done to develop, so after the vision board party, I said, God, what if she really calls me and says, what have I done or what's next? And I swear to you, maybe a week later, she sends me a text and she's like, remember how you said you like to cook and you like to cook brunch? Well, I'm thinking, and I was like, okay. And in my mind, I'm like, well, okay, this is, you want the chicken and waffles and this, and okay, that's easy. I can do that in my sleep, but I've never done it for 60 people before. So here I am doing all of it the morning of, and so I'm like, I had a lot to learn, but literally like the next week is when I had to jump in there head first because she called me and I said, I'll do it. And that was literally my first job and how I got started.
How did that end up? Was there any hiccups?
No, thankfully there weren't any hookups. Everybody loved the food, and I really got a lot of like positive feedback from the women. Everybody was really supportive, and they knew it was one of my first job. Well, literally my first job. So no one could even give me any constructive criticism. You know what I mean? Because they were just like, the food was good, and I had seen pictures, so I presented some things, but I didn't even think to bring platters. So I things were pretty, but it was like on a baking sheet rather than maybe on like a nice white platter. You know what I mean? So I was just surrounded by so much love and so many women who wanted to see me win that it really did go well. And at the end of the day, truthfully, they might say that the presentation wasn't up to par per se, but for the most part, I've learned with experience, people just care that the food was good. So the food was good, so everybody was happy. So it went really well. It went really well.
And so after that moment, how does the business part move forward?
So the business part, it was pretty slow for me as far as going the official route because I wasn't really sure where Splendidly Flavored was going. And that's something I didn't know about Splendidly Flavored for a long time. Splendidly Flavored started off as a food blog. I just always loved food and I've always been a foodie. But it wasn't until the vision board party that it took that catering turn. You know what I mean? So after that, I got a couple jobs. I did a baby shower maybe a month after that. And then I want to say I don't think I filed for my LLC until the top of 2020. And that was because I had to get business insurance for a job that a woman who wanted to book me for one of her religious brunches that she was doing. So I was like, okay, well, now I got to put this into overdrive. Like, I don't even know. So I went through the whole legal Zoom process, and I, got my EIN, and, started and got my business insurance, and just took things off. And then that's where it took like the official business turn. But even still today, I'm still learning, because, like I said, my mom worked, at a job for 30 years and retired, but my dad was just kind of like he was into music, he dabbled in music, so I didn't have anybody at all, not even really. I didn't have anybody to teach me about an EIN or about business credit or any of that. So that's something that I took under my on my own, and start literally trusting these people that I see on Instagram. And I invested in it. I took a chance. I was like, okay, I don't really know who this girl is, but she sounds like she knows what she's talking about. I'm going to invest in some of her classes. And and this is something that's going on presently, and it's helped me now even more so, to where she and I have built like an affiliate program together, because her classes work. I didn't know about business credit, what a net 30 was. I didn't know anything about, and for those listening who may not, that's just, these companies who will give you an invoice and give you 30 days to pay it back. When you want to elevate as a business credit is important. Another thing that's important is getting the grants, because although there's cash flow coming in and out of the business, sometimes there's going to be a point where your business account is going to hit like $150, and you're just like hoping that somebody books you with the big deposit so that you can afford the groceries for the next event. You know what I mean? So, so I learned how to qualify for grants. There's just so much that I had to go and do my own homework on, because I didn't have a mom who knew anything about start, or some people have it good where their parents leave things to them. I didn't have that. So I had to do a lot of learning on my own, but it's a lot of work, and you're gonna look back and think, man, I don't think I've had any free time, but it's worth it. Like, this business thing is a machine of its own, and you got to work at it to make sure, if you want to be successful, you got to spend your time working at it to make sure that you continue to elevate and not just be stagnant.
So what is this? You said net 30?
Yes.
Can you tell listeners what people that a little, can you elaborate on that, or at least for your experience, like what that meant for you?
Yes. So for what I can say, so what a net 30 is it's basically an invoice. And I'm going to share just two experiences, because this might be helpful too. There's companies out there that will allow you to get net 30s, get invoices from them for free, because there's this one company who I was trying to buy some stuff from, called Webstaurant Store online, and you have to pay like $99 a month to qualify for net 30s. And that's not something that I was able to afford, because I'm trying to like save to be able to buy an office, or lease an office and lease a business car, so I'm trying to like really watch my business funds. So be leery of that. Not saying that that's not the way to go, but for startup companies like myself, if you don't have that disposable income to pay a $99 monthly fee just so that you can qualify for an invoice after you order. So you have to pay $99 plus whatever you order from that site. It just, to me, just sounded like something I couldn't afford at the moment. But company Uline is a really good general retail company that offers net 30s for free for their customers. So you literally go through their magazine. It's almost as thick as what the Yellow Pages were, if any of you guys are old enough to remember what the Yellow Pages were. But it's literally like a thick
way
book
back in our
way
back in our
back
day.
in the Ice Age.
When you had to open a book and find, open up a book and find who you were looking for.
If you're a TikTok generation, I know you're probably like, what in the world? But for us who grew up with the 411 and all that, it's probably as thick as Yellow Pages, right? But they have everything, like from like the tissue paper that you wrap your products in your boxes, all the way to shelving, anything under the sun. So I recently ordered some bags for them for my meal preps, and they they mail out an invoice. It got to me maybe like 7 days after I placed my order, and you have 30 days to pay it. And a good way to help build your business credit, once you have to get your EIN and all of that, of course, but then once you have all of that and you start getting these net 30s, pay them 10 days before they're due. And that's how you're going to watch that business credit score go up, and you'll be able to qualify for leasing your own office and getting a business card under your business name and all of that. So it's definitely something that is useful for those listening, for sure.
Yeah, I actually don't think I ever heard that before. I think I recently have heard of Uline, and I think
Okay.
there's a few other ones too that offer. I never heard of that net 30 thing.
Okay. Yeah. See, neither have I.
I
And I'm
don't.
telling you, like, I would be taking these courses and communicating with people, and I'm just like, it sounds like they're speaking a whole other language. I'm like, a net 30. I'm like, okay, like you said, can we elaborate on that? But it's something that I'm big on sharing with others, because again, I am, some people look at my Instagram page and they think, oh wow, like, you're really doing it. But I'm like, I'm really just learning just like the next. And I had to rely on people who were friends of mine, to really kind of give me some tips. But a lot of people aren't really out here like working for the business credit and like working to really have like a strong multi-million-dollar company business, so some people are just kind of cool with just kind of being, I don't even do all that. I just kind of just cook the food. But for me, I know I want Splendidly Flavored to at least have the opportunity to elevate to like the higher levels like that. So I'm just taking all the steps now. And literally, I work a 9 to 5. I do my meal preps and the catering jobs. And then my third job is literally learning about business
Oh, and
credit and
it's so
how to.
I don't know if you have ever heard of this, but I tell everybody because sometimes when you have information or you're used to hearing it all the time, you think everybody knows this, right? Because
Right.
you're in the
Uh-huh.
bubble. I call it the bubble, right? Oh, you already like I've already heard it a million times, so everyone else must have heard it a million times.
Right.
The Small Business Association,
Uh-huh.
okay? It's a free resource. So
Yes.
I don't know if you've utilized it at all. If you
Yes.
have, then we can just kind of, you can ignore this. But for people who are listening, the Small Business Association provides services, mentorship, classes, everything revolving around business. I mean, they'll do marketing classes, startup classes, how to do projections, how to write a business plan. I found out about it on a podcast, listening to
Okay.
a podcast, and I was like, "What? It's free because you're a taxpayer." And then I immediately went and was like, "Okay, I got to put this into motion. So who do I need to figure out? How do I need to do this? What do I need to do?" And it's a free service. So it's obviously when you're even thinking of starting a business, or you're in the startup phase, or maybe you've been open for like a year or 2 or 3 and you're like, "What the heck do I do now? Like I don't really know." Because business is its own thing. And I think a lot of us are self-employed
Mm-hmm.
thinking that we have businesses, and you're self-employed if you work for yourself and make money.
Mm-hmm.
But if you leave and you no longer make money, then you don't have a business.
Absolutely.
You're just self-employed. I
Absolutely.
know I'm going to make a lot of people mad with that, but I learned that the hard way myself. And that's just, that's what it is. So go to the Small Business Associations like sba.gov,
Mm-hmm.
and they can provide more free resources for you, mentorship. You can work one-on-one. Now, did you utilize the SBA at all? Have you utilized them?
I did. I did, especially, last year with the pandemic happening. That's when I think everybody probably became aware with the SBA, Small Business Association.
Mm-hmm.
I had never heard of it prior. And they definitely have a lot of great, like you said, a lot of great free gems out there. However, for me, I'm one of those. I am a visual learner, and I kind of work better in almost like a classroom setting where we can, so, that the information was nice, but like you said, so when I'm reading all of this and then like, what is a net 30? Okay, what is a Duns and Bradstreet? Who is that? How can I call? And I'm thinking, okay, what's their number? And it's like, girl, no, Duns and Bradstreet is just like part
Mm-hmm.
of your credit check, like for you know what I mean? So I'm like,
So
so
if and again too, if people don't know, Dun and Bradstreet is something that once you establish your business, so you've maybe opened your LLC or whatever formation, and then you've gotten your EIN number, and then you go to Dun and Bradstreet and you apply for a number through them, and that's how you build your business credit. And it actually takes a very short amount of time to build business credit too. It's not like personal credit. Shameless plug, I had a whole interview on business credit, personal credit in like episode 21, if you want to go check that back out. But Dun and Bradstreet do it. There's another one too that they like report to. I can't remember the name of it. But there is another one. I'll have to look it up and send it to you.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, I think, is it called Paydex?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like your Paydex score.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, because that's why I'm like, I know I was just reading about this yesterday, and I think it's Paydex. So, like you said, and that's another thing, for those listening, don't get overwhelmed thinking, oh man, business credit. It's much quicker to develop positive business credit than it is personal credit. And don't get discouraged too if you have bad personal credit, because a lot of these these lenders, I guess you could say, like if you're trying to qualify for a gas card or an Amazon card or Apple Business accounting and all of those types of things, that's set. Your personal credit is separate. You know what I mean? So people don't have to get discouraged if they, we all went through a tough time, girl. 2020, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Nobody's alone there. If your credit took a hit, that you don't feel like you can't start a business or you can't give it. No, it's completely separately. And don't get me wrong, I want to clarify too, there are some companies that may require personal credit, but there's a ton of others that don't. They're going to look solely at your business credit. So I kind of look at business credit as like a second chance per se, so, focus on keeping your business credit strong and healthy. And then it will just only help you, I'm telling you, qualify for so much funding and just, be able to have that leverage to go out and get, I'm one of those, like, I want one of those really nice offices, like in downtown LA or something, like it's just all window, like that's like a goal that I see on my vision board that I have for myself. So when I say, don't get discouraged, and this is what, girl, I know I can get that. And I know my business credit is going to do that. And it just takes, you just have to put the work in and, keep strong, healthy business credit for about 8 to 9 months. And then I'll be able to have that. So do it, guys.
Then what, so now, how was 2020 for you? Did it completely halt everything for you?
So it did. It completely halted everything, because even that religious brunch that I spoke about, that wasn't able to happen because it was going to be for about, I want to say like 80 people, 75 to 80 people. But we couldn't have events of that many people, and event spaces weren't even allowing them to even like maybe secretly go on behind closed, you know what I mean? So we delayed the date maybe 3 times, and I had a wedding that I was supposed to do, so a lot of my big jobs that I had on the books, I had to just cancel them. I'm big on trying to reschedule, but we didn't know if there was any end in sight, so I had to cancel some events. But it wasn't until things started to, maybe I want to say maybe come summertime, June, I think, when people started getting restless, that's when it actually started booming for me, because people couldn't go to restaurants, so they wanted to bring the restaurant to themselves. So I was able to monetize off that and offer private chef services. So I did a lot of private dinners for couples, for groups up to maybe like 15 or 20 people. So luckily I didn't hit a brick wall as long as maybe others did, because I was able to still have an avenue where I was able to make money, and it was still in a safe and small setting. So it worked.
Well, I love the way that you were able to just pivot. So, that's a big one, is you just were like, well, I'm going to get this money still. I got to figure it out. It might not look the way I want to look, but it's going to come to me. However, it's going to come to me.
Exactly. And, I'm just really big on, I could have just kind of just like been in here sulking, like, oh my God, my business is over. What am I going to do, this pandemic? Or I could just make way, so I had I had opportunities come to me, and people were interested in, I was taking COVID tests like crazy, and providing results, and, wearing my mask. And I have independent contractors that work with me. My husband I guess I can call him an independent contractor, but he's just like my go-to, like whenever I need help. And, you know, before I had the independent contractors, I guess I could say, he was always like right there by my side, helping me, prep and all of that and plate food. So I have a really good team, I guess you could say, so I'm like, I could either sit here and just feel down in the dumps, or just really like just go out here and follow the path that God and the universe is leading me on, so here's this opportunity to do these private dinners. So I'm gonna do these private dinners until the bigger catering jobs pick up. Money is money, and people have all types of events that they want to celebrate, and you want me to be a part of it, I'm there. No question.
That's awesome. And so what's on your radar for 2021? What's 2021 looking like?
You know what? I am very bad on saying that, because I've again, like, I didn't know that Splendidly Flavored was going to be where it is now. I did not foresee this happening. I never knew what road that I would be led down, but I like the way that things are. What I can say, I guess what I can say is on what I would like to see for the closing of 2021 is me getting closer to having a nice office space, instead of me, because I'm right now I'm storing stuff in my garage, and and it's just like, and now my car's in the way. Let me move the car. Everything's stacked on top of each other. It's a hassle. So I would really like to have a big office space where I can neatly store my things. And again, I'm a visual person, so I'll be buying platters, and then I'm like, dang, I forgot I had one. Like, so I would like to have an office space. I would like for Splendidly Flavored to just grow. I would like to have a food truck one day. That is something that I hear it's a lot of hard work. I hear it's a lot of hard work and long days, but I just want to continue to feed the people, and I know that food is one thing that makes people happy no matter what they're going through. Even if they've had a shitty day, I know that good food is going to change the mood, so instead of people having to book me, for a big old $10,000 event or something, I'm just like, you don't have to break the bank to book me. So that's the reason why I want to have maybe a food truck one day where I'm able to just be like downtown LA area, and somebody can just come and just buy a meal and just experience my food and take it from there. You know what I mean? So that's something that I would love to see happen by the end of the year.
And do you want to be the one on the food truck, or do you hope that it might be where you can then bring on, maybe up and coming chefs to kind of cook your recipes?
I would love both, actually. I would love, because I want to learn it too, because I've never worked on a food truck before. So I would love to be able to learn it and get that experience, and actually, and plus, I if I'm going to hire somebody to work the truck, I want to know what it's like. I don't want to just kind of be like, all right, so girl, so we're going to be out here, and I'm going to be here, but you're going to be, I want to know like what really goes into it, so I'll be able to know what type of person is actually going to be fit to actually work the truck. And, something that my husband, his name's Greg. I hate like saying my husband, like he has a name.
He's a man. He's a person.
He has a whole person. He's not like just my husband. But something that we talk about all the time is you never really realize how important it is, like the service part, when you're serving people food, or you're the chef. People imagine like people loving the food, but I'm a bitch, or or like, oh, the guy who took my order was an asshole. You know what I mean? So he's like, somebody, especially if you're going to be on a truck, the person who takes the order is the person who's delivering the first. The truck has to be clean, and of course that's the first impression, but it's all about service. And no matter how good the food is, if the service isn't there, then why would people go back? Like, people don't even want to spend $5 of their own money if it's going to be in an avenue where the service is subpar. You know what I mean? So it's just surprising on how much, you have to be courteous, and, it's like customer service almost, I guess you see what I'm trying to say? Like, just because
it is. Food, it definitely is.
Yeah, it is.
And
right.
And
so all of that has to go into play.
Sorry, my daughter just walked in here.
No, that's okay.
And you as the business owner too, these are the things that I hope people understand as the business owner, that it's why you also can't be every part of your business. You can't be the cook, and you can't be the server, and you can't be the business person. Like, you eventually have to run a business, you eventually have to focus only on the business, and you can't only focus on, like, I'm going to get the food truck, I'm going to deliver it, I'm going to cook it, I'm going to, in order to scale, when you start bringing people on, like those operations, right? Like the day-to-day operation stuff means something. And that customer service part is a big portion of your industry. I mean, you're serving food, like you said. Like, I love good customer service. It's something that's like, if the food, like, there's a place here where I am, I'm in Florida, and it's so good. It's this Colombian restaurant that we like, and it's really good, but the service is always terrible. And I'm like, man, I would love to come here if it wouldn't take me like 2 hours to dine here, because I'm waiting. I never have my drink, but that's all like the operations, and training. And I think sometimes as business owners, I say all that to say, I think as business owners, we forget that part sometimes. So it's just nice to hear you say like that matters, because sometimes it's like, okay, well, I gotta like figure this out. So I can't, like, the service part isn't that important to me. I gotta worry about like other stuff,
And because one thing, I always put myself in the consumer's shoes, because I've been a consumer, you know what I mean? So, like I said, even if I'm buying a $3 coffee from Starbucks, if the service isn't there, it kills my whole experience. You know what I'm saying? And now, and sometimes I'm so big on customer service that sometimes now I don't even really want my coffee anymore. You know what I mean? Because now the whole experience is like, it's just been like colored with like this bad, this awful customer service. And now, you know what I mean? So I just know that when people experience Splendidly Flavored, this is like from the bottom of my heart. Not only it's more than just the food. Like, I want people to leave saying that was an experience, all the way from pre-booking to me packing up my stuff and getting in my car and leaving, and then even sending a thank you email. You know what I mean? It's service first, because forget about 2020 and what people went through financially. People don't have to spend their hard-earned money with me. You know what I mean? But if they choose to do that with me, I want them to be pleased, from the service, from the food, to the experience, to the plating, to the presentation, across the board. I want everybody to be, I was going to say satisfied, but I've never had anybody say that something was nasty or anything, but you know what I mean? Like, I want it to be a positive experience, and everything that is completely in my control, I want them to say, man, like, she really handled that, and her team is amazing. And word of mouth is is free, and it's one of the best ways to get new clients. So I have to make sure that I kill it every time, and I leave every customer feeling like, man, she really cares, and her service is great. I'm going to make sure I let my friend who's having a baby this year, I'm going to let her know you need her for your baby shower, that type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's service, everything. It's more than just the good food.
So what 3 pieces of advice would you give to maybe the women that are listening who are interested in starting their own business?
Okay, 3 pieces of advice. It's probably all going to sound cliche, but I'm going to say, first, do it. Just start. Because I think that we always, as women, we say, okay, oh, maybe it's not the right time. Well, my son just started kindergarten. Oh, my son, just do it. Just start, just start, because, I know I'm like that too. I would, if it wasn't for me speaking those words at that vision board party, I don't think I've ever would have unveiled this whole layer that's inside of me that I didn't even know was there. You know what I mean? So do it, just exercise it, and work that new muscle, which is the business, and just go for it. We're all learning. You don't have to be an expert in business. I'm not, you know what I mean? But it's just something that you're gonna have to work at to learn, but just start it. Another business is I would definitely recommend taking the time to really learn. You do have to make some sacrifices, take some times, whether, whenever you have any downtime, to really learn what you're going to have to do, because this, especially now, which is great to see, but we have a lot more entrepreneurs now than what I've ever seen. I'll say, you know what I mean? A lot of people just going forward and living out their dreams. So just take the time to research and educate yourself, learn what sets you above the next chef, or I don't know, the next artist, or the next gym, whatever it is that you want to do, find what sets yourself above and just go for it. You know what I mean? Just and focus on that. And then but education is important, because if you go into this lost and blind, then you will get lost and you will feel overwhelmed and you will feel like maybe I was wrong. So no, take the time to just kind of learn and kind of zero in on where you're going and what you want to do, and then you'll be able to flourish from there. And then the last is, you have to trust yourself and trust your dreams, and believe, trust God, trust the universe, to know that whatever path that you're on is the path that you're meant to be on. I would not be here where I am if it wasn't for all those jobs that I've had. I've worked in the hotel industry. I've worked in sales, and I can literally take little pieces of every experience that I've had at each job, and it's gotten me to where I am. So even if you feel, I felt so lost, I'm telling you, like I have chills. And just to put an age to it, in 2019, I was 34. So 30, again, I'm big on cliche. So you don't feel like it's too late. It's not too late. I just figured out what I wanted to be and who I am at 34. So no matter what the age is, trust the path that you're on, go for it, take the risk, and trust in yourself to know that it's going to lead to where you're supposed to be in life.
And then let people know where they can find you.
So my Instagram handle, I do have a Facebook too, which is Splendidly Flavored. I'm just not as active on Facebook. I find that a lot of my target audience, they use Instagram. So my Instagram is Splendidly Flavored. I have a website, www.splendidlyflavored.com. And I'm like literally one of the nicest, coolest people. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to elaborate. And, a lot of people have shared their knowledge with me, which is why I'm happy to share my knowledge with others. So please don't hesitate. Reach out to me if you have any questions, or if you're a chef just starting out, and you have some questions about how to whatever it may be. Honestly, I am one of the most gracious and nicest people, and I'm happy to help anybody, man or woman, no matter what it is, to succeed. So man, like, me and my friends say it's money out here, like, let's
So
get it.
much.
Let's get there's space for all of us. You know what I mean? I don't have to feel like I'm in competition with the next, and you don't have to feel like that either. So, you guys have my information. Please reach out. And I'm just happy to share, or even just be, just a vessel if you just need to kind of just get something out. And I'm here to see us all win, for sure. We're all great, and I'm just here to watch everybody be great.
Dawn, thank you so much. This was so good.
Thank you.
I'm going to
Thank you.
stop recording.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I do want to talk to you for